Okay, we are starting unit 3. It's the angle pairs and congruent figures. So that's what the packet looks like. And we're gonna do notes 1. So it is just talking about different types of lines on this first part. So definition of intersecting lines, they intersect or cross and are coplanar, so that means they're on the same plane. And here's an example of that. Definition of perpendicular lines are two lines, they intersect or cross as well, and they form a right triangle, so that's important to know. They form a right angle, and are coplanar as well. Parallel lines are two lines that do not intersect, so they never cross, and they're also coplanar. And then skewed lines are not coplanar and do not cross or intersect. So this is like back here on this plane, and this is on the plane in the front. So those would never intersect. M is like on the back, and P is on the line that's in the front. So those would never intersect. And then we have this diagram to look at, and we are just trying to find lines that fit this. So it says parallel to AB and contains D. So I'm looking at AB, parallel to that would be DC. Perpendicular to AB and contains D would be AD. And then skew to AB and contains D, there are 3. So it can't be parallel, and it's not, it doesn't intersect either. So it's not on the same plane. So not on the same plane as it would be like DH, ED, and DG. So DH, DG, and ED. And then name the plane or planes that contain D and appear to be parallel to plane ABE. So plane ABE is like this side here. And if we want a plane that's parallel to that, it would be the plane over here. So it would be plane DCG. Remember, we only need 3 letters to label a plane. So we say these 3 letters. So those 2 planes would be parallel to each other. Then we have this thing called a transversal. A transversal is a line that intersects 2 or more coplanar lines at different points. So this would be the transversal here, line T. Transversal. So transversal is just a fancy name for this line here that cuts 2 or more lines. So line T is a transversal of line M and line X, because this is X and this is M. So it goes through both of those lines. And that's all for that first page. And then our second one, we're still talking about different types of lines and then angles now. So these are different types of angle relationships that are formed by transversals. So definition of alternate interior angles. So we have alternate and interior. Interior is what it sounds like. That means inside. And alternate is like opposite. So they are between the 2 lines because they're inside the 2 lines and opposite sides of the transversal. So they need to be inside of L and M and then on opposite sides of the transversal. So it would be 1 and 2. And then I'm going to pick a little bit of a different pen. Hopefully you guys can see this. And 3 and 4. And I might grab a different color so you guys can see that. But they have to be across from each other. So it would be like angle 1 and angle 2, and then angle 3 and angle 4. So they're inside the 2 lines and they're alternate. Same side interior. That means they're both going to be inside these two lines. So between the two lines and on the same side of the transversal. So this would be like 3 and 2. Angle 3 and angle 2. And then 1 and 4. So angle 1 and angle 4. Corresponding angles are two angles on the same side of the transversal and same position for both lines. So what this means is like if angle 6 is above the transversal, then the same one would be angle 2 because it's above this transversal and on the right side. So above the transversal and on the right. So we would say like angle 6 and angle 2, angle 3 and angle 8, angle 5 and angle 4, and angle 1 and angle 7. So they have to be like above the transversal and to the right, or below the transversal and to the right, or above and to the left, or below and to the left. And then alternate exterior, it's on the outside of the two lines and opposite sides of the transversal. So this would be like 5 and 8. So angle 5 and angle 8. And then angle 6 and angle 7. Because it has to be on the outside of these two lines. And then it says list the pairs that follow the description. So now we're looking at this next thing and talking about them. So our first one is corresponding. So we would have angle 2 and angle 6. And then we would have angle 4 and angle 8. And angle 1 and angle 5. And then 3 and 7. I didn't mean to have a comma there. Should be 3 and 7. And then alternate interior would be 4 and 5. And 3 and 6. Alternate exterior would be 2 and 7. And 1 and 8. Same side interior would be 4 and 6. And then 3 and 5. And then we have our next picture. These numbers are kind of hard to read. I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I'll write those out more. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So corresponding there would be angle 5 and angle 7, and then angle 1 and angle 3. Alternate interior would be angle 2 and angle 7. And 6 and 3. And then alternate exterior, we don't have any, so that would be none. Same side interior, angle 2 and angle 3, and angle 6 and angle 7. And then our last part, it says classify what angle relationships these have. So these would be corresponding. Oops, there's 2 R's. These would be alternate exterior. Exterior. And then the last one would be alternate interior. And that is all for those. That's all for notes 1.